A funny thing happened. A funny thing happened. Boss. Boss. A funny thing happened. My boss, his wife, and baby son came to visit my home. You have already seen this sign meaning 1/2. Here is another sign meaning half. Half. My dog is big, half husky and half collie. To bark. To bark. Here is the basic form of the sign bark. Here is a form of that sign meaning to bark and bark and bark. To bark and bark and bark. Here is the basic sign to chase. Here is a form of that sign meaning to chase and chase and chase. To chase and chase and chase. Here is the basic sign finish. Here is a form of the sign finish which means what an English speaker means when he says things like it's all over or that's it, as you will see. It's all over. Suppose a stranger is near my home. It's all over. It's serious. The dog will bark and bark at that stranger and keep on chasing that stranger. Uncle. Uncle. You know that it bit my uncle before. It was terrible. My boss drove in and parked. The dog barked and barked. Front or in front. Front or in front. You have already seen this hand shape used to show the location of a seated person or animal lying down. In the story you will see two hands with this hand shape used to show an animal lying down on its stomach. An animal lying down on its stomach. Later, the dog quieted down a little bit and laid down on its stomach in front of the house. My boss got out of his car and started walking. An animal growling. An animal growling. The dog growled. He, my boss, was stuck. He couldn't get near the door. It happened I was in the living room watching TV. You can trace the size and shape of something to give a clearer idea of what you're talking about, such as a window. Showing the size and shape of the window. If you wanted to show that someone waved his arms to get someone else's attention, you do it like this. Waving arms to get attention. My boss, his name sign is G for Greg, saw the window. Then the shape of the window is shown to you. He saw me. Greg waved his arms. Dark. Dark. Outside it was a little bit dark. I noticed something funny. Notice the sign me was repeated at the end of the sentence. This provides a little more emphasis. This is the basic form of the sign look. There is a form of this sign that means to look at something intently. Notice that the fingers are slightly bent and there's an intense facial expression. To look intently. I looked intently through the window. I was scared. Notice the sign me was repeated at the end for more emphasis. Who is that? Notice the facial expression. She still looks like she is looking. Oh, Greg is here. This is the sign meaning come on. Come on. I told him, come on. Greg said, I can't. I'm stuck. The dog keeps on barking. Oh, I forgot. I told my husband to get the dog. He went and got the dog. I went out to see Greg's baby. By signing the name sign Greg in front of baby, it means possession, Greg's baby. The baby was still in the car with the mother. Here is the sign to open a door. If you want to be specific about opening a car door, you can make the sign this way. Open a car door. I opened the door and looked at the baby. Notice that she bends over to look inside the car when she signs, "Look at the baby." The sign to talk, as in conversation. To talk or converse. It was really cute. We talked. It's common to model or show the shape of something and then identify it. That was a car seat. Greg's wife was sitting in front. The baby was in a car seat. There, she pointed with her thumb, there in the back. She spelled back. We forgot about the dog. This is the hand shape used to represent a vehicle. If the vehicle is on the left, you place the hand shape on the left. This is how you previously saw a dog lying down. Here is how you would show the same animal jumping. The dog was over here on the left, and the dog jumped in the car and sat on Greg's wife. Greg tried to pull the dog back out of the car. He couldn't. The dog was stubborn. Here is how you wave at someone to get their attention with just one hand. To wave at someone to get their attention. Here is that three hand shape representing a vehicle on the left again. You can be very specific about identifying areas on the car. For example, here is how you would talk about opening the door on the driver's side. Opening the door on the driver's side. Here is how you would point to something that is near you. If you want to point to something and indicate that it's just right there, you do it this way with a special facial expression. I waved at my husband to get his attention and said, "Why not open the door on the driver's side, just right there?" To push. To push. We pushed on the dog and it went out the other side, over there, finally. I was embarrassed. Notice that the sign for me is repeated again for emphasis. The dog was dirty. Now Greg's wife's clothes are dirty and the car is dirty. Here is the sign meaning time that's used when you're talking about specific times like 3 o'clock. Here is the sign time when you're talking about time historically, like in my time or in that time. Time historically. To look back on something or reminisce. To look back on something or reminisce. It wasn't funny at that time, but looking back, I think it's funny now. A funny thing happened. Boss. Half. Bark. To bark and bark. To chase and chase. The sign finish, meaning it's all over. Front. An animal laying down on its stomach. Growl. Dark. To look intently. Come on. To open a car door. To talk. To wave your hand to get someone's attention. Right there. To push. Time historically. To look back, reminisce.